Well, the dream team is back at it today. We're gonna finish off all of the pointing this week. Last week we managed to finish the upstairs and it's looking just fantastic as it's drying. It still has another week or so to fully dry to get the actual color that it will be long term. This week, we're feeling good. We just had a long weekend, feeling strong. We're gonna plow through and get this entire downstairs finished. So for the final stage of pointing, once the mortar in between the stones is dry enough, I'm going back over everything with a wet brush to kind of reactivate any mortar that's stuck on the face of the stone. And once it's become pliable, reactivated with the water, I will then brush it off with a wire brush in order to make sure that there's no mortar on the face of the stones, because as we're pointing, it's really hard to keep mortar from going onto the stones, the face of the stones itself. And what ends up happening is it more or less recolors the stone and takes it from the natural dark look to a more lighter gray. And I just want them to look natural and to keep the mortar where it's meant to be.
So Bradey was really hesitant about this color of mortar in between the stones. He was afraid that it would look too much like cement, not natural, and I don't know. I thought it was gonna look great anyway. I don't know. I'm not an expert at this, but if you look at it, it's incredible. I love it. I think it's exactly what I pictured actually the walls looking like. In my mind, we would use something maybe like a white or something, but when we did the test comparison with the lighter, it just stood out way too much and I didn't really like the look of it. This, I think, is perfect.
It's really difficult because the mortar changes colors as it dries. It takes probably a good 2 weeks to really settle into the exact color. So here we have, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 days of drying currently. It's really close to that final color. It will get a few shades lighter and a little bit more gray. But I think all of my hesitations and reservations against using this color are gone. It especially looks good in this room because these stones naturally are more gray. Most of the stones in the house are a darker color like this, but you can see that the contrast between the mortar and the stones is looking quite nice.
It's looking really good.
So because all that time ago we brought in that heavy duty industrial power washer and we removed all of the mortar, the work of replacing the mortar and pointing the stones now is quite easy, as we don't have to clean out too many of the stones. We do have a few spots that the power washer missed or the mortar was a little bit too strong, so we do have to by hand chisel out those areas, but overall we can just kind of dive straight into it and get on with the pointing. Beyond removing any of the old pointing and cleaning up the stones, now is the time to fix any of the stonework. There's a lot of areas where stones are missing or stones are broken or just really kind of not the best stonework, and now is the chance to fix any of those little mistakes. So we're going room by room, fixing all of the stonework, pointing, and it's turning out just great. Ah! Carlo!
Guarda, prendi la cazzuola e stucchiamolo. Se devo fare la foto. C'è il video.
C'è.
Il video.
Ah!
100.000 video. Guarda la telecamera. Oh! Ma se vuoi te lo faccio anche più.
So despite living what is a rather active lifestyle through all of the work that I am doing, I have, struggled a little bit with some stubborn weight that I would love to get back to healthier levels, and I'm making a real effort. I did find a new tool that will help me understand my body better and track my metabolism. So allow me to introduce you to today's video sponsor, Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach that helps you monitor your metabolism and understand if you're burning fat or carbs, and then gives you tailored guidance to help improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and stress management. Now, of course, your metabolism is kind of the engine of your body, and it's at the core of everything your body does, and ensuring that your body has good metabolic flexibility is crucial to your health and well-being. If you can track and understand how your metabolism is functioning, then you can make real-time changes to your diet and exercise to help improve your nutrition and energy. And all you have to do is breathe into Lumen to understand what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning fats and carbs, so that you can make real-time adjustments. The app allows me to track what I'm putting into my body down to the macros, and then allows me to test the results of that input, giving me a wealth of information that otherwise is sort of a confusing topic. So if you're ready to hack your own metabolism and learn more about how your body operates, then scan this QR code on screen or head to lumen.me/Voyagers to order your Lumen at 15% off. Thanks so much, Lumen, for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back at it. They built the doors around the hinges, and we're trying to remove them so that we can install our doors, our new doors, and...
Spacchiamo la pietra.
No!
Spacchiamo qua, zampete.
No!
Perché no?
No.
Certo, molto bello.
Sei obbligato perché
Perché in fondo fa
capito.
rampino.
certo, piega così.
Prendi flessibile.
No, taglia.
Ma non taglia.
O tagli o spacchi la pietra, perché l'hanno fatto su assieme, non l'hanno
Cambio
su
disco per flessibile.
No, batteria.
No, cambio disco per grande.
Lo so, uso quello. Vediamo. Lo piace? Troppo facile qui. Olè. Oh no.
No!
Ecco, pensavo che erano solo due io. Proviamo qua col piccone riusciamo.
I tried to take these out the other day and they're impossible. They literally built the hinges
Just leave them as
around...
decoration.
No, this should be said. It's so massively impressive to me because hinges have to be so incredibly precise, and yet they built the doors around the hinges. As they were building and stacking the stones, they placed the hinges in place and managed to do it perfectly. Like that's just, it's so impressive to me. If we could leave them, I would leave them because they're just really, really cool. But we can't, otherwise we won't be able to open the doors all the way. If you open the doors all the way, it'll shatter the glass. So we have to remove the hinges.
Yeah,
I wish
they
we
would
could
break
leave them
glass.
just because they look really cool.
They do look cool. Oh, we're getting them now, I think.
Dai che vieni?
So I don't think I did a good job explaining the different stages or the steps of this process last week. But basically, the first step is the easiest. You just kind of shove the mortar in everywhere, just kind of overfill it even. They really prefer to overfill it. And then you go back with a miniature spatula and kind of stuff it in a little bit more, just after it's barely dried and gripped. I've learned you're actually supposed to wet the gaps a little bit so that the mortar sticks, but they and their technique are very much against that. So there's different ways of doing this. And then finally the last third stage is to go back over it with a wire brush, but that you really have to be careful. You have to really watch, make sure it hasn't dried too much or is not dry enough, otherwise you're really just kind of mess it up. But that final stage is where you really perfect it and take your time and make it look good. That's what takes the most amount of time.
Oh, thank you.
No, but okay. He wants me to do it because it's scary.
Why do you have to do that?
They stuffed a lot of bricks and even wood up in here to hold it all together, and some cement, and it doesn't look nice, but as you chip it away, it loses the pressure which is holding up the arch. So that's why I'm staying over here.
Yeah.
You know. This is not work that takes a lot of finesse or experience to do a good job, but it is work that takes a lot of patience. When I'm going around Italy looking at other houses or restaurants and getting ideas for how to design and build our home here, the one thing that I see most often is a rushed job in this pointing process, especially in the finishing stage, and making sure that you brush out all of the mortar properly and you don't get anything smeared onto the face of the stones too much. So we are really taking our time, and this is where I'm especially thankful to have a crew that really cares about their work, that really wants to do a good job. We are taking extra time to make sure that all of the mortar is cleaned and finished properly and not rushing through this process at all. So as you can see with the stones here, we're actually brushing over them, cleaning them up, going back over everything with a light and wet brush, kind of reactivates the mortar that has kind of spilled over the face of the stones and allows us to clean over them properly. I'm not sure yet, we haven't decided, but we might go back over everything with a very light power wash, maybe in a week or two after everything has fully cured, just to be able to reactivate that mortar, the very thin layer of mortar that might be spilled over top of any of the face of the stones, and kind of really take everything off and bring back the stones to their natural clean look. Molto grazie. Well, we'll need to wait a couple of days for the color to go back to normal, for the stones to dry. But I would say that's a big step in the process. Doing a final clean with the power washer very lightly, and then when there's some mortar built up on the face of the stone, closer to release and to clean off that mortar, that's going to be an important step. However, downstairs it'll take another week and a half for it to cure before it's safe to do. We did this wall back here first. It's been long enough that since I was delicate, I was able to do it, but for upstairs, I'm gonna wait until after we've put on the final screed over top of the in-floor heating, because right now it's just wood and it's gonna soak up all of that moisture. Whereas once we have a few inches of that final screed, at least it'll sit on top of that screed, and then we can brush it off and get it out of the house without it soaking down into the wood too much. Well, we're getting ready to finish up for the day, but before we do, I wanted to give you kind of an overview of the entire house as we're getting so close with this pointing work. I'm upstairs now. This is our bedroom here. This wall is just one of the most beautiful walls, as you have the old large stones that line the chimney going all the way up. We had to fix some of the border along the ceiling like we've done in several of the other rooms, but that turned out fantastic. Transitions beautifully down to the nice stones. This pointing has been finished for, I've lost track of time, maybe 4 or 5 days. So the color is really starting to set in, really starting to look really nice. This is one of those walls that will really benefit from a light power washing to clean off the surface of the stones. But of course, like I said, we're gonna wait until after we've put in the in-floor heating and that final screed so that we don't have a lot of water sitting on top of the exposed wood floor that we have now. You can tell there's kind of some mortar dripping down from the pointing process, but once we do power wash these stones will really, really pop. My favorite parts are the stone doorways where you have the contrast between the finished stonework and these chestnut beams. I thought we'd have to cover up this edge around here, but we were able to replace a lot of those stones, and which turned out fantastic. Now, of course, the bathroom is not finished as we still have that large hole that we need to cover up once we're able to access the chimney and finish the chimney work. But for now, it looks beautiful, especially with those large stones that, again, are lining the original chimney. These stones here, again, will really pop once we clean them. We'll really have a kind of a darker texture, a darker color to them. Because right now, the gray of the mortar has kind of washed over a lot of the stones, turning them a little bit more gray than they would be naturally. But I think you can kind of start to sense why we've left this stone wall exposed, as you can kind of picture a beautiful light tile floor with a white bathtub sitting in front of that dark stone wall. And then moving into the kids' room. The kids' room has a bit of a unique stone wall, as these stones are naturally a lot more gray. Most of our stones are very dark, even for this area of Italy. But these stones are more similar to what the rest of the houses around the area look like, with a natural, more grayish look to them, not as dark. And because these stones are naturally more gray, you can tell it really blends in with the mortar between the stones, the pointing. It's almost an identical match, with some stones really popping from a rusty color. And then it kind of naturally transitions to a little bit of a darker outline, as these are the stones that we added to build this doorway. Now the stairway here is a lot darker than it will be long term, as we just power washed it, which really makes the stones really dark. It'll take a good 3-4 days for them to dry out and go back to their original color. But this whole area here will really benefit from some lights that we'll bring in. We've wired in 3 different hanging lights, which will hang down pretty low, splashing a lot of beautiful color onto the stones. But this is a nice statement piece where it's a 2-story floor to ceiling, all stone. We were able to keep all of this exposed stonework. And then finally moving downstairs, where we've chosen to leave as much stonework as we're allowed to exposed. Each room will have, on average, 2 finished walls that will be finished in a smooth white render, and then 2 to 3 stone walls. This archway here is, of course, the crown jewel of the entire project. Just stunning. Of course, that's all new if you haven't seen the videos where we made those arches, but it blends in perfectly and beautifully with the original stonework. So that's it. The upstairs is completely finished. The last couple of days we've been working on the kitchen and the entryway and starting off the living room, and we just have a little bit more work to finish up that living room and the office, and then we will be completely finished with the pointing work, which I might add is in record time for pointing. It takes a very long amount of time to finish up. But I think that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us, and we will see you next week with a brand new video.
That's another white one.
Yeah.
Hey, this is good. We could use this for the stone house. Do you think we could also use some stones for, like, maybe like a playhouse we could make?
Maybe. Hey Chloe, can you tell me what we're doing?
We're looking for good stones.
For what?
For the stone house.
Yeah. We gotta find good stones that can fit into the holes. Do you like that one?
I love this one, but it's a bit heavy.
What do you like about it?
It's the front.
Oh, the front? How it's white and rusty looking?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you help me?
Don't drop it on your toes, okay?
Okay.
Good job, buddy. Excellent work. High five. Nice.
I've had a lot of high fives today. I was doing math and I got all my math questions correct.
Good job.
And every time I got a high five. It's
What
a
about
great
this one,
hiding
Chloe?
spots for ant-holes.
Since this one is thin, it should be a nice stone.
Let me see it.
The thin stones are easy to place in. Do you like it?
Yes, that's a good stone. I like the ones that are like that. And you get another bucket and you look for stones. I wash these. After I'm done washing them, I take this bucket and then I look. We could do that.
Oh, just keep getting more and more stones?
Well, until you think we should stop.
Do you like picking out the stones?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for helping me tonight.
So what we're going to do is we'll start by getting 2 baskets and then we'll see how we can fit them in.
Okay, I think 1 bucket is good enough for tonight.
Okay.
And if we need more, I will get you back here and we'll pick out really good stones together, okay?
Okay. I think I can hold this.
I think it's too heavy. How about we leave it there, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Stay here. Don't move.
You ready to go home and see mommy and relax?
I really want us to find the place for them. We have to find the place for them.
Well, this room's finished, okay?
Okay. So we can look. Wait. Stone needs to be here.
Yeah.
And there's a stone that needs to be here.
Yep, that hole down there, that's why we collected the stones, to fill up the holes.
I think a skinny one.
That one should do. Bring that one in.
This one or this one?
I think the one you have, yeah? You want to stuff it inside that hole? Hey, it's a perfect fit, kiddo.
Almost.
Good job.
And then we need one more. No, 1, 2, 3.
Those ones don't need stones. Those ones will be okay.
What is this stone? It's like
Hey, buddy. Give me a hug. I'm really proud of you. You're a hard worker.
Okay, I'm just doing a little sweep before we go.
All right, then you ready to go home? Because I'm tired. I want to relax.
Okay.
You want to go home and relax
This
with me?
isn't little enough. It needs to be bigger.
Okay. All right, let's go home and relax, okay?
No. Ow! Have they been filming this whole time?
Yep.
Oh, okay.